Thank you for your interest in EarthPaint. Here's a video that will explain a lot about what we do, and at the end of it, hopefully you'll generate some questions that I can answer for you.
My name's Chris McCarthy, and a few years ago I started a charity called EarthPaint.org.
Our mission is to provide paying jobs for people with disabilities and give them a working environment that they enjoy. And we do recycle thousands of gallons of paint. But we still have thousands more gallons to process. And our crew loves what they do, and they're excited to be here, even though it's kind of a dirty job. Everyone always does their best every day. EarthPaint is trying to change the paint industry because every drop supports nonprofits. And our crew is excited to talk about it. We've actually been on the news a few times and made it into local publications, but we're still struggling to make ends meet. And it's a labor of love, so we're going to continue to make the best of every single day. We innovate, we blaze new trails, and we dance when time allows. We really need your support so that we can expand our program across the entire country and then eventually around the earth. So here's an example of some of the barrels that we use to make some of the custom colors that people want. We can take hundreds of cans over here, and we can separate each one of these cans into the different buckets so that we can get very close to the color that people are asking for. This is a can crusher, and once we have these barrels full, that's when we can mix them up with a mixer and get them to the color that we want. And then if we need to recreate that color, we can make multiple barrels, which then would go into a mixing tub like this and turn it into something that people actually want again. So here's an example of something that we do for other charities when they need large amounts of paint. So we actually have a tote back over here that we mix the color in, and now we pump that through this funnel system that we have so that we can fill up this entire tote here, which is about 275 gallons. And it's the color that they're asked for, and it's completely filtered, and it's all pretty much done by hand, and we kind of invent ways of making it happen. So once we do empty the cans, more than half of the cans that we get are made out of plastic. And this is an example of one of the drying areas that we created so that we could take that plastic and actually recycle it. So here's an example of a plastic can that you would get from most of the hardware stores. We empty the paint out of it and then dry it. Then it goes over here to our cutting station. So the metal rim and the handle, as you can see, the handles have been taken off of here. The metal rim gets cut off on this saw that we rigged up with a jig, and then it goes through this saw to actually be cut in half into these halves of cans. Now, most of these could then be cleaned so that they look sort of like this. Now, this is an acceptable way for us to get all of this plastic. This is a number 5 plastic that typically would not get recycled. Nobody in the world has figured out how to do what we do or really cared to take the time. So this is really an important part of our recycling process so that we can make sure that nothing that goes through this building goes to waste. So we're actually doing the same thing with these 5-gallon pails as well. So these 5 gallons actually up above here, you'll see way in the back, way up there, that's our drying racks for the 5-gallon pails. What's really cool about the 5s is that once you reach in and start to peel these huge sheets of paint come off, and then we can reuse those buckets over and over and over and over again. We donate a lot of them, but once they're really clean, we could also recycle those the same way we do the cans. So over here is one of our water recycling tubs. So any of the water that we collect, whether it be rainwater or other water that we use within the building, we can pump into this tub and store it. And then we actually have like a modified pool filter down there, which we can cycle through if we wanted to clean the water a little bit better. For the most part, we can take this water and disinfect it with just a little bit of bleach, and then we can put that back into our paint. If it's way too thick, we can thin it out to the right viscosity so that it can be a paint that people actually want to put on the wall, and it's not like pudding.
Our main focus moving forward is finding a market or building a market around all of this amazing, very sustainable, and very high quality paint that we make. So where we need your help is generating interest and overcoming objections when it comes to a product that people really haven't even heard of.